to share with you a secret that I have been using for the past since I've invested, since I've been investing in real estate. Um, it works. I and I use it so much that I kind of take it for granted. I didn't really think of sharing it really until now, till people started calling me and saying, "Well, what exactly are you doing? How come you were able to buy that with no money? Does no money down work?" It does. I assure you, it does. It does. And for somebody like me, I kind of felt like I was not a part of the system. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm not the right color. Maybe I'm just not the right sex. Maybe I don't have come from the right economic standing. I people think all kinds of things, but those were my thoughts when I was trying to buy real estate. And yeah, I just thought it was out of my league. I didn't think I could buy anything, especially in New York, where I was going to NYU and trying to make ends meet, and it just wasn't working. But I heard somebody on TV say that you can actually invest in real estate and make money. And I believed it, but I didn't know how to get started with it. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to go through a PowerPoint that I created because I think it's going to help you to understand how you can actually make money in this business, how you can take over properties, nice homes in nice neighborhoods without qualifying, no credit, no income, nothing. All right, so let me just bear with me a minute here. All right, so basically, what I'm going to teach you today is I'm going to show you how you can have fun with real estate, how you can stop chasing junkers and actually make money with nice homes in nice areas. I'm going to talk about what is subject to investing and, what are the multiple streams of income that you can get from one house. I'm going to show you sources of passive income, ideas. I'm going to share with you my strategy, and I'm going to show you how subject to investing works. I'm going to take you through a deal. So the information I'm sharing with you tonight, like I said in the beginning, it changed my life. And whether you're starting or you're trying to build retirement income, or you're just starting out, or you just want to be financially free, you don't necessarily want to be working at a job 9 to 5 every day, going home by beating traffic. The dog don't even know you no more because you work so much. This is a way, an idea that you can use to make income without working so hard. All right. Let's go to the next screen. So what if? Just what if? Before you dismiss this and you say, well, subject to, well, I heard of that before, but let me just ask you this. What if you can get a nice house in a nice area with no money and no credit? What if you could do that? What if you can start immediately without a large investment? What if you weren't able to buy because, I don't know, you got out of jail yesterday? What if you could still buy? What if you could buy a property even with lousy credit? Nice, I'm talking nice places, nice homes in Orange County, San Bernardino, LA, San Diego. What if you can build a strong continuous income quickly, and you could build it while you're still doing your job and then eventually quit? Can you see the possibilities here? All right, so what is subject to investing? It's buying nice homes, nice, well-kept homes in nice neighborhoods. These are the homes that you want to live in, right? I would want to live there, wouldn't you? Forget about applying for a mortgage. You won't need bank financing. And don't even bother call your uncle. This is not rehabbing. It's not lease option. It's not wholesaling. It's everything, actually. It's all of that. So if you like rehabbing, you can do it here, but you won't really, because these houses are nice. You're not going to necessarily need to rehab again. All right. So the nice thing is you work with nice homes. I keep saying that because it's true. That's the most pleasant thing that I liked about this business, because I'm a little lady. I don't want to be out there rehabbing houses. I don't know. I did a few of them, but I don't like it. So if you're like me, you don't like rehabbing, here you are. You don't need a bank loan, and you need little or no repairs. Um, they're easy to find. Actually, these houses are everywhere. I'm going to show you why. All right, so some background. I have been investing since 1997. I got out of college and I'm like, am I supposed to do now? I got a bill. I couldn't go and get a job, so I'm thinking, let me work for myself. All right, so I thought about investing in real estate, but I didn't really start right away. So I went to work in my own temp agency, and I got a $1 million government contract providing temporary help services. I went to NYU. I invested in these different states, and now I'm a licensee. By the way, let me say something about that government contract. I had 43 people working for me. 43 people working for me, and I was a busy girl. I even had my mother working for me. She was on the payroll. And do you know something? Everybody was getting paid, but sometimes I wouldn't. And it wasn't a nice feeling when you see all those checks coming in. The government's paying me, and I see the checks with big numbers on them, and I couldn't keep it. What would be left for me would be, maybe $1,000. So I wasn't living the high life. Anyway, I wouldn't want to go back there, let me say. It was just hard to do that business. All right, so up close and personal, I was always poor. My mom and my dad wasn't around, struggled in New York City for years. So I was up late watching TV one night. I saw Carlton Sheets on TV. I remember Carlton Sheets. He said I could do it, man, and I did it. And he was right. He didn't really get started with his course, but he was right. So I went to every boot camp, everything I could find. And the next thing you know, I was actually taking over houses. And the only reason why I took over them is because I couldn't get a mortgage. I had bad credit. All right, so deals done. I got those deals done. Yeah, and these were done only with a few months, after I really decided I'm gonna do this. Okay, and with no money, no credit. I couldn't get a mortgage. The hard money lenders I spoke to up in New York, they weren't interested in me. weren't interested. All right. Okay. So after that, I made some money. Check this out. This is my third year. Wasn't my first year. I didn't get off the blocks running. My first year, I think I made like 60,000. Second year, I think I made something like about 100. And then now I made 200. It's actually 250, but anyway, it's okay. All right, so it changed my life completely. Completely. All right, so let me show you some of the deals that I've worked in New York, in California. So that's where I am right now, California. And I went wild when I came here. I just took over anything I could find because in new state, I wanted to prove that I could still do things, right? And basically what I'm doing now, I'm trying to do some projects, trying to take over some apartments and work it that way. All right, so what is subject to investing? The seller deeds you the property, you become the new owner, the loan remains in the seller's name, and you take over payments. End of story. That's it. That's all. That's all it is. How you do it, then that's another story, right? But that's basically what it is. All right, so the key idea, really, really important, the key idea is that you have to understand the difference between debt and ownership. It is possible to have one party on the ownership and then the other on the instrument alone. You can. And usually these are one and the same person. but you have to know that the two can be separated. And that's what I'm getting at. That's the whole point of what it is I'm saying here. All right, so benefits of subject to investing. The benefits outweigh the negatives completely. It does not involve the use of credit. Did I say that? Okay, you can do this with no money. It generates cash really quickly. There's no bank loans needed. You buy nice houses in nice areas. You don't really need a lot of cash. I think I'm repeating myself, but it bears repeating. It works well if you're bankrupt. Okay, maybe most of you probably aren't. You weren't as bankrupt as I was when I started. Or if you have bad credit, or even if you have no green card, you're a foreign national. You came to this country and you're looking for a better life. It can work for you too. There's no liability. There's little and no closing cost. There is no personal guarantee of anything. You own it and you control it. You get all the tax benefits. You profit from appreciation. You collect all the cash flow, and you can actually refinance and then cash out if you wanted to. But if you hate banks and you don't want to deal with them, then you don't have to. All right, so what about the due on sale clause? Most mortgages have them, right? Yes, they are there to protect the lender. And most mortgages do contain a due on sale clause. The lender has the right to call the loan due in the event of a title transfer. So if you sell the property, they can call the loan due. But do they? Not really. None of the deals that I have done, and I've done plenty of deals, none of them ever called the loan due simply because I took over the property. Actually, I've seen where they called the loan due when I wasn't there yet. They called the loan due because it was a foreclosure. They're calling the loan due. They're saying, look, I'm taking the property from you because what? You're not making payments. So that's the only time they actually do that. All right, so you're asking me, Alicia, is subject to illegal or what? No, it's not. Subject to is on the HUD settlement statement. I'll show you where it is. It might trigger a due on sale clause, but it is not illegal. The lender can call the loan due, and I show you how you can actually avoid all that. But you have not committed fraud, by the way, just by taking over a property subject to. You have not committed fraud. You need to use disclosures, though. I call them CYA. Well, you've heard of that before. Cover your assets letters, where you get the seller to sign. Okay. The important thing, though, I also want to say is that if you're going to talk about, talk to an attorney, right? Make sure you talk to a real estate attorney, or at least an attorney that understands these kinds of deals. All right. Here is the HUD. I kind of copied it wrong, but you get the idea. This is a part of the HUD that's on, I think, the first page. And it's talking about existing loans taken subject to. That's on line 203 on the HUD settlement statement. And it's also on line 503. Existing loans taken subject to. And I'll show you my settlement statements, by the way, of the deals that I took over. And I HUD on these. These HUDs are done. And it shows exactly where the loans are taken subject to on my HUDs. All right. So why would a seller sell subject to? They must be motivated. Let me tell you that. And I won't lie to you. They got to be motivated. Because if you went to your aunt right now, she's doing real well and she's not interested in selling her house, or maybe she's selling it with a realtor, and you went to her and you said, I'll take it over subject to, she's probably going to say, no, son, I'm not interested. Maybe not. You never know sometimes. You know, you have to make the offer, and you never know whether what somebody will take. Anyway, they have to be motivated. Sometimes the only way you know they're motivated is when you make that offer. So there are reasons why people become motivated. They're relocating. You've heard of that before, right? The job transfer. They want to stop making payments, and they just want to walk away. You know something? This is the majority of the ones that I service. These are the people that I talk to most of the time. They like, I'm tired of this. I don't want to make any payments. If you don't take this, I am going to walk away. This is the reason why you see a lot of nice homes. They were nice anyway until the lawns got killed. And they're empty, they're vacant, and the owners just walked away from them. Some of them are just not even in foreclosure. They just walked away. So perhaps the seller bought another property and is making two mortgage payments. The seller has personal problems, bankruptcy, divorce, a job loss. And that's the primary reason for the ones that I find. There's a job loss or some kind of a financial difficulty. And they're saying, I gotta walk away. I don't need this. And also that last one there where it says a seller downsizing because they have to move into an adult care facility. That's happening more now than it used to. Well, hello, baby boomers are getting older. But here's the thing. It's a very real situation. People who, let's say, maybe they go on social assistance and maybe they don't need to be on the deed for anything, especially if it's draining them, and they can't pay the payments anyway. They want to get off the title. They don't want to be on title. It doesn't matter whether they're on the deed. I'm sorry, on the mortgage. They just can't be on title. Otherwise, they don't get the social assistance that they need. So this is very real, folks. This is very real. All right. So why would the seller deed you his property? Oh, he's motivated. But let me help you to understand something. When you put a property, well, if you're a motivated seller and you are putting your property on the market, you expect to pay a realty fee, especially when you're selling, and especially if a real estate agent is coming to you to sell it for you. A real estate fee is expected. But what if you can't pay it? You'd have to go in your pocket to come out with money to pay that realtor fee, or even to make the deal work. That's even if the realtor decides even that he wants to list it, because the honest realtor is going to say, look, I can't get that for you. And if it's something you really need, then perhaps you should sell it yourself, or maybe you shouldn't sell it right now. Maybe you need to rent it out. And that's sometimes that word is not what you want to hear. They don't want to hear about renting anything. They want to get off this title and get out of this loan. So obviously they'd rather sell to you and pay nothing than to have to go into their pockets and having to pay a realty fee just so they can actually sell the house. So when you go in there and you're offering them this type of a solution, it actually relieves a lot of things, right? It relieves the when and the how much. For one thing, it's pretty flexible. You're going to say, well, whenever you get good and ready, I'll take over the property. They don't have to worry about, okay, well, I don't know if escrow is going to close this month or is going to close next month. The seller, there's none of that. You come in, you take over. There's no escrow. There's no mortgage. There's nothing. How much? You just said, I'm taking it over subject to your mortgage. I'm just take over your mortgage. There's nothing, there's no stress about it. There's no, okay, well, I got to go in my pocket to make sure that, the amount that you buy it for is less than or more than, there's none of that. And that's why this works. All right. Well, I hope you found that informative, but that's how people think. So how do you find a motivated seller? Well, they got problems. Like I said before, they have problems, and that's the key to finding them. You're going to find them maybe in bankruptcy. You're going to find them in pre-foreclosures. You're going to find them with business problems, personal problems. And this is what you offer them. You can buy properties. You can take over property. You can buy distressed property. And you approach them with that idea. And that's exactly what I did, basically. I offered fast settlement. I said, I'll buy the property now. All right. So some of the sources where you can find motivated sellers are here. Track homes. Believe it or not, that's where I found a lot of them in California, up in Lancaster there and Palmdale. These are the houses that people bought from the builders. And man, shiny and new house is nice. You just get in, fog a mirror, get in the mortgage. Now they're like, I can't afford this. The mortgage is adjusting. Something is happening. All right. I'm not afraid of that. I know how to handle that. So again, new track homes, those are the best places, or that's one of the biggest places I found my deals. Luxury properties, believe it or not, they're some of the easiest ones to work with. FSBO sites, Zillow, Craigslist. I mean, you can buy an out-of-towner list, pre-foreclosures, easy to find, expired MLS listings, and of course, realtors. So how to get the deed? Here's what you do, right? You find the motivated seller. You have them sign something called an authorization to release information. You call that lender. Once you fax in that authorization to the lender, they're going to give you a fax number. You fax that into them. Then you call back and you say, okay, I'm calling on this loan that you will verify. So then they say, okay, I verified you. Now what do you want? Then you're going to say, that's basically what they say. You'll say, okay, I'm trying to verify the loan balance on this loan and the status. Yes, the loan balance is X amount. The status is current or not. They'll tell you where they are on the foreclosure timeline, if there is one. And they're going to verify the payments. The payments are. And that's easy stuff for the lender to give you. You know what I mean? So you'll have no problem getting that information. So you determine if the deal is good and you make the offer for debt relief. And really, that's really what you're offering, debt relief. You prepare a contract and disclosures, and you have the seller sign. You get the title, and you run the deal through escrow. You're buying subject to the existing mortgage. The seller goes to the settlement agent and signs everything, or you hire a notary and dispatch them to wherever the seller is. Deal is closed. Deal is done. That's it. Yep, you can do it. All right, so the apartment building takeover. Ah, yes, right. This is one of my deals that I did, right? And again, apartment building, my first go, not bad. It's significant because you need to understand I didn't know what I was doing. All I did was ask. So it was a for sale by owner, 6-unit building, deferred maintenance, unruly tenants. State was taking the rents from the homeowner, from the apartment owner, and there was tax liens, and he couldn't sell. He didn't know how to sell, right? So what I did was I offered him to buy it from him subject to the liens. There was no mortgage, but there was a tax lien, a water lien, a state lien. So I said, I'll take care of that. So I took it over subject to. For his 45, he didn't get 45. He got a note. Did I give him a note on that property? I forget. But the point is, I think on this one, I did not, because he had two properties and I took them both. But this particular property, there was no equity for him to get anything. So he got nothing. But I did pay him some money to take it over. Let me show you the deal. So basically, I took it over subject to. I paid the guy $1,200 to sign the deed. Then I filed the deed and then I took pictures. I negotiated the liens and I got some of them reduced. There was a water lien. I got that reduced because I found that there was a problem, why that was that way. The state, well, they wouldn't budge, but they did agree to wait. The tax lien guy, forget it. That's the way he makes money. So he's not going to budge. And, excuse me, I lost some tenants because the city rendered the place uninhabitable because some crackhead went in there and started a fire. I'm telling you, my first deal was crazy. But nevertheless, all that stuff happened. I still made money. I actually wholesaled the deal to another investor, somebody that could do the rehab. And I did it for $20,000. I took $5,000 from him, and then $15,000 I got later. I could have done other things. I could have stayed in the deal, and maybe do a JV or something like that. I could have done all kinds of things, but I just wanted to get out of that one. I didn't, All right, so here's my seller's authorization that I used. I'm sorry, an authorization to release information. Really simple stuff. As you can see, I don't know if you could see it, but basically it just has my name and my company name on it. So that means if my assistant was going to call and they was calling from Gold Coast Investments, they can get in and to talk to whoever. That's why I did it that way. All right, so a deal in Lancaster. This is a deal that I got referred to me by a realtor. It was a realtor referral. Market value about 130, and mortgage balance was 127. The interest rate was about 7.25. As you could see, they got one of those. It was like a stepped payment kind of situation. Okay, principal and interest, 866. The PITI was 1166. The taxes were about $2,600 a year. So it was a little tiny house. It wasn't a nice home in a nice neighborhood. Neighborhood was okay, and the home is okay. But I saw the opportunity and I took it. No rehabbing needed because it was pretty decent inside. So I purchased it subject to. No money, absolutely no money. Excuse me, I'm yawning. I think I need food. All right. So I prehabbed it, meaning I actually went in with a broom and a bucket and I cleaned it. I swept the yard and just made sure everything was clean. Took out the garbage or whatever that was in there. And I just let a foster family rent it. That's it. Simple as that, right? I could have done a lease option. I could have done, with the mortgage balance the way it is, I just rented it. But I could have done a lease option on this one, just so you know. All right, this one, same thing. I just rented it. 5.4. But I wanted to show you this one for two very good reasons. I mean, this is a house in East Palmdale, and it's $465. It's not even worth that, right? It's worth, if you sold that house now, it would be worth maybe 250, 260. Okay, maybe closer to 3, but it certainly isn't worth 465, right? You saw that it's totally upside down. I took it. Absolutely. And look at the payments. You saying I can't do anything with this payment. I tell you what I did. I stopped the foreclosure that was on it, and I negotiated the loan mod. Loan mod came to 986. I rented the thing out for a lot more. That's a pretty nice chunk, right? That's almost what? Twice as much. A pretty nice amount, if you ask me. Yeah. Even if it was temporary, that's still good. I could have made even a bigger um, profit by doing something different, by renting the rooms and maybe doing like a facility where the state pays me per person, like this one here. I could have made $5,000 every month on this. I didn't because I just wanted to get somebody in there right away, but the thing is, you can set up your business the way you see fit. All right. So what are the risks? Yeah, the lender could call the loan due. Big time. Uh, Let me just double check on here something. I want to make sure that you're on the same page as me. Okay, good. All right. So yeah, the lender could call the loan due, right? As always. Do they? Not really. No. To the seller, the risk to him, or if it's any risk at all, because the people I deal with, they don't, they either walk away, they're either going to walk away anyway. So they don't really care whether that's still there, um, whether their credit is still attached to the mortgage. But I guess that could be a risk if somebody cares about that. The buyer doesn't make the payments. What if the buyer doesn't make the payment? What if you don't make the payments? That's what he's saying. Um, let me tell you something. As far as the name being attached to the mortgage, the motivated sellers that I talk to, they don't, not that they don't care, but it's not an issue because I do a good job in showing my credibility. But if you didn't do such a good job, maybe you might want to just lease option it then, if it'll make them feel any better. But you can still get the deal done. Um, and of course, the objection to what if you don't make my payments is, well, we both lose. Seriously. Then what am I doing this for? Why would I even bother take the time to be interested in the property if I'm going to just let it go down the tubes? All right. So, okay. Let's say you tied up a property and you got the deed. What do you do after you get the deed? Oh, heck, do I have to tell you? Well, let me show you how it works. After you get the deed, you contact the homeowner's insurance company, right? You're going to have to introduce yourself and have yourself be added as additional insured. My case, I just like to buy a new policy. Just buy a new policy. And you make sure that the lender still remains on the beneficiary on the policy. You contact the lender with a special letter that I can share with you. And you have the statements mailed to you or you get on the mailing list, right? You contact the property tax department and for the changes that need to be made there, and you take title. I like to take title in a land trust and have my LLC be the trustee. Or you can be the trustee. When I first started, I was a trustee for everything because I wanted the world to know. That's right. I'm the trustee. So that's basically what you're doing after you get the deed. There's some paperwork you need to do after that, right? And by the way, I mean, if you really are interested in learning more about this type of investing, I would strongly urge you to go ahead and take the weekend training that we're going to have. So I'll show you how you get involved later, but just be thinking about that. So how do you avoid the due on sale clause? It's actually very simple. And we use a land trust to do that. And basically, you're just taking title in that land trust. How does this work? You do this legally, and the property goes into this land trust, and with the homeowner as the beneficiary. Really. And anybody can put their home in a land trust if they wanted to. So the homeowner then signs over the beneficial interest of that trust to you. You become the new beneficiary to that trust. And you name yourself the trustee or your LLC, whatever you choose. And then, as the trustee, or you being the beneficiary, will direct that your trustee um, takes care of the property, like pays the bill, collects payments, sell rent, all that stuff. So you own the property and you're controlling it. All right, so what are the profit centers, right? I mean, you're thinking, what can I do with it after? Some ideas are, depends on what you took over. If you're taking over nice homes in nice areas, like I'm saying, you won't need to rehab or flip it, anything. You won't want to flip it, But let's say you took over a junker, which this works with junkers too. Let's say you took it over subject to. You can rehab it and then flip it, or you could just sell it like I did with that apartment building to another investor who just went ahead and fixed it. You can refinance and get rid of the old loan, like in the case of where the owner says, well, I don't want to be on the loan. Then you get rid of the old loan. You can refinance. You can rent it out, which is what I would recommend, using a lease option actually. And or you can just put another business in there, like a adult care facility of some sort, and you rent out rooms. State pays you. I'm telling you, lots of money here. And in between, well, let's say if you took over a property that's a foreclosure, you could just do a short sale on it. You can flip the short sale, or you can just buy the short sale or refinance the short sale. Negotiate a loan mod like I did with that other property. Again, it's yours to do what you want to do with it. Okay, so your income strategy. All right. So you've taken over the property. You've done the paperwork that makes it yours. You filed your deed, all that lovely stuff. Now it's time to make money, right? Well, I'm doing this simultaneously. I'm not just doing one before the other. I'm doing this simultaneously. So I recommend that one of the ways, or you could just get immediate money, is by renting it out with a lease option. And this way you help another set of people. You're helping buyers who may not be able to qualify for a mortgage right away. These people may have had a previous bankruptcy. They've had a previous foreclosure maybe. And, just because they had a foreclosure or bankruptcy doesn't mean that they don't work or they can't pay for anything. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It means that, especially if they filed a bankruptcy, that they have no other bills to pay. They're going to take care of, the house that they live in, because this might be their home. This is their home. They're lease optioning it, for crying out loud. So you're getting a much better tenant than a regular tenant. And these are first-time buyers, people who are relocating to the area. And there might be people who just can't qualify right now for a mortgage for various reasons. I'm going to tell you something. I mean, you know that I'm also a licensed mortgage broker. When you do get this, which I will share with you at the weekend meeting, not meeting, but it's a training. I will share with you. So basically, when you get an application for somebody who wants a lease option, then instead of trying to process that by yourself, send it to me. Send it to a mortgage broker, right? Where they will actually do a 1003 application on these tenants. And then they'll qualify them for a mortgage. And then you'll see where they are on that scale of buying a house. And you'll know how long they need in order to cash you out. You know? All right. And then you didn't have to pay for any of that. So we're talking multiple profit centers here. This is got to be my favorite way of dealing with the property after I've taken it over subject to. So it pays for you to understand how lease options work and how you get rich doing them. You're going to collect a non-deposit, non-refundable option deposit, say around 3 to 5% of the selling price, depending. It depends on the price of the home, right? So then you lease for a couple of $100 above the mortgage payment. What I'm saying is that you lease it out to the person. And whatever you got going in there, then you just put some more on top of that and you lease it out to them. That's how I did it. Real simple. So if I wanted to make an extra $200 a month, that's what I did. You establish a selling price above the mortgage balance, of course. So, and then you give the buyer 2 or 3 years to pay. You know, it's a win-win-win situation. You know why? Because, the seller is gone. You've already solved his problem because you were there and you bought it his way. You bought it subject to that mortgage. The buyer gets to buy with little qualification because you can afford to give it to him that way. And you get multiple profit centers just for doing that. It's a win-win-win situation. What one person couldn't do, you took over and did. Love it. Okay, here's the cash flow example that I'm talking about. So you took the mortgage balance for $330. Okay, this is California. This is normal, right? These numbers. So you took the balance for $330. The selling price is over 2 to 3 years could be $375. It could be more or less, right? Where I am in California here, it would be more than $375. In 2 or 3 years, yeah, it would be more than that. I'm telling you, it would be up in the 4s. All right, so the mortgage payment, let's say it's about $1,600. It depends on what interest rate they had, but let's just say it was $1,600. And, you said, I think I could probably rent it out for $1,850. Maybe that's the market rent. Or maybe, you know what, to me, the market rent doesn't even matter. Not really, because what I'm offering is something so valuable that they're willing to pay more for it. Because they're getting in light. I'm not going to charge them like 10% deposit. I could, but this is, to me, works better because I'm helping them. I'm not trying to gorge money out of them and throw them out if they can't pay later on and keep their $15,000 or $30,000, or just having to give it back to them for some reason. I'm not giving up my money once I get it. Okay, so I'd rather charge a reasonable option deposit. I used to charge more, but I suggest you keep it reasonable. All right, so you're trying to get quality tenants, and these are tenant buyers. They're not just tenants. So you collect the $7,500. Now you're gonna times the $250 that you're getting extra by 24 months, $6,000 during that time. And so you're getting cash flow, you're getting money up front, and at the back end, when they say, I'm ready to buy, $45,000 later. Nice, nice, nice. Tidy. Now tell me why you couldn't do that. Okay, now here you could say, well, the mortgage payment could be higher. Yeah, let's say the mortgage payment was higher. Let's say the mortgage payment was like 1850. The incoming lease amount 2350. Hello, you know what I mean? You're offering something really good here. All right, so weekend class. I mean, this is really completely, you know what? If you're ready to give up that rehab stuff that you do, if you're ready to even give up wholesaling, wholesaling is good. It's good. I've used this technique to even wholesale as well. I mean, but it's wholesaling is good if you're just starting out and you're saying, you know what, I don't want to, you know, you know, be too, I don't want to get myself in anything I don't understand. And I don't have any money anyway or any credit. But if you're sick of that, or you're sick of chasing deals, sick of chasing junkers, if you're just sick and tired, seriously, this is a good alternative. Because I'm not saying you're only going to work with nice houses, but if you only want to work with that, then I suggest you do that, because that's exactly what I did when I came here. I said, I don't want any junkers. I'm not interested in rehabbing nothing. You know, I want nice houses. And, I said, I like the track houses. I used to go into these places, the model homes. Oh, tell me you haven't. you know Go into the model homes and gawk at the nice way that they've actually furnished the place. That's all it is. It's just furniture, for crying out loud. But it looks nice and it smells clean. It's nice. It smells like granite countertops. And it's nice to work with houses like that, or places like that where it's nice. This is it. This is where you do that. And you can get quality. You're dealing with quality people. You're dealing with people who had these houses and maybe they're not able to keep up with the payments, whatever. And you're dealing with people coming in, and they're not necessarily poor and destitute. These people coming in, they just want to lease with the option to buy. And so it can change your life. It can change your life in the way you do the business. You could change the way you do business, and it could change your life, because what if you decide you want to stay in one of these houses that you didn't have to qualify for? So in the meantime, hey, you create monthly cash flow, replace your salary. Instead of making payments, now you're going to get payments. You can create wealth this way. It's a business. So you create, that's why you need a class. As with any business, you need training, right? And that's what you should do. Just take the class and be done with it. You take over the deed, subject to any property, subject to any mortgage on any property. You pay full price and you still make a profit. You saw how you can, the example I just gave you, that you can actually pay full price or even over the price that is valued at. You can actually take over a house that is upside down and still make a profit. So I invite you, stop making these payments, collect payments instead. The way you sign up for this is you call me, because there's a price for this. Okay, it's a boot camp. I call it a boot camp, but it's a weekend. It's one weekend where you actually just get it done. It total immersion. Get on the phone, make the phone calls. You do a deal, see how the deal is set up. I'm going to show you a folder, how when the deals are taken over, how it works, what it looks like, how you actually lay it out. You know what I mean? What happens when this paper gets signed, who gets it signed. I'll even give you access to my notary. And she's just a person that I met, and she goes out and I pay her $50 and she just goes and collects my deeds. I'm not kidding you. I kid you not. I'll show you how I do that. And let's have some fun with this. All right. So it's going to cost you some money. It usually, I'm charging like $14.95 for it, right? Because I feel like it's worth it. And you're going to get everything you need. And your first deal, pretty much, you'll make a lot more than that, especially here in California. But guess what? I mean, I decided that I'm going to just cut the price in half, right? And I'll give you some money. I'll give it to you for like $7.95. And but I can only sign up 15 people because of the space that I have. And also because, this is not for a huge seminar class or something like that with hundreds of people in the room. This is not what this is. This is actually a class. It's a training. And everybody's going to get a chance to bring in that deal so they can work on it, ask questions. I think it's better this way if it's a small group. So you'll have to call me, though, to get that special price. Just call 909-552-7005, extension 1001. It's only for this weekend. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do next week. I might change my mind, but just get this done, and we'll see you there. So let me just go back into my meeting here for a second to see if y'all have any questions. And no questions. I see no questions. Okay. So I'm going to leave this up for a little bit. And like I said, if you are interested, if this is something that you think will work for you, go for it. Let me tell you, it's a life changer. You don't have to do any rehab. There's no hard money loan, 65% loan to value. You come in with a bunch of cash. There's no gap funding. There's no contractors to have to deal with. There's no, junk house that you have to clear out. There's no permits you need to pull. There's no holding costs and decorating costs and, cats and dogs in your property and you got to get them out. There's nothing like that. None of that. It's nice homes in nice areas, and you're dealing with real people, with real situations, just like you, and you just need to solve the problem. And you get paid really well for solving this problem. Okay, everybody. I will see you later. See you on the flip side, and